now that we are finally working on the engine, we're gonna clean this surface up, which actually Chelsea's already done that. But I need to replace this. Chelsea's going to be putting on a intake gasket.
Intake manifold gasket.
Look at that, nailed it. She's a professional.
Like a glove.
So it's very easy to take these out. I like to use just some simple picks, kind of like so. So you just want to make sure that you're not going to scratch the inner diameter or the inner surface. I really don't care about this since I have another one, so I'm just going to rip it out. There you go.
Easy.
Okay, and then you're saying this is easier to put this in first?
Put this on first.
Okay.
Other than that, now all I have to do is put the nuts and bolts on to hold the intake manifold so it doesn't fall off. Figure out which orientation this is supposed to go, what goes here into these lines, and here as well. So just kind of remembering how everything went.
We had a slight issue with the water neck coming off of the thermostat, which down here, this is the old one. The fitting was just completely, well, busted because normally it's a tee off of here. Chelsea told me that this was pressed in, so I just grabbed a vice grip and then wiggled it right out. So what we're gonna do is put an NPT fitting into this and then make our own T-fitting and hook it up to that, which we might need to replace that later.
What?
Just how messed up that one is.
That was disgusting.
And other than that, we're just gonna button up a couple more things. I've already got the new stud in. We are going to be adding a new hose onto the back of this just to make sure that that doesn't leak. Chelsea, what else are we doing?
Once we have all that done, we've got 2 fuel lines we need to put on because when we took it out of the car, I think they wouldn't come off, right?
Yeah, well,
or we just cut them, one or the other.
That, and then we also couldn't get to one of the bolts to take off the intake manifold, which is that one under there.
So just replacing the 2 fuel lines, the return and the sender?
Yeah, just about it. I mean, maybe an oil pump, or not an oil pump, the oil filter.
Yeah, the oil filter, why it's easy to access.
Yeah.
Other than that, like Tyler said, the block off for the water back here, and then pretty much it's ready to drop in. It's just doing little things before we put it in the car to make it easier on us, not having to bend over a low car like that. So once we get this is a 1/8 NPT fitting we're going to put in here. Hopefully it fits. We couldn't find anything local, so we had to buy something on Amazon. And yeah, so after that, put the belts on and hook everything up to the trans. And it's ready to go in. And Tyler can have a running car.
Oh my god. And then, yeah, I'm so excited for that.
What Tyler's doing is just putting the fuel lines on. Basically, we did one here, and we pretty much just looped it at the moment, so that way when we put it in the car, we can cut it directly to size, and we're not just guesstimating. But he's putting the one that goes onto there. We already did that one. I put the new cap back here. So it's getting there. Other than that, still waiting on this fitting to come in from Amazon. Right, so we went ahead and put the V-belt on, and got the alternator all tightened down. So that is ready to go. We're gonna wait to put the accessory belt on, so we have more access. Tyler's not kind of just like fighting this, trying to tap this. So on this transmission, which is the one that we're gonna be using, somebody resoldered wires. I guess probably their harness got messed up. This is what they did, and these are the wrong connectors. So instead of resoldering and changing, and also this one it's been resoldered before on here. We have this spare transmission, and this is perfect. And this one is they're the correct plug-ins, so we're gonna actually flip the reverse and the neutral sensor, flip-flop them. So we'll probably just clean this gunk off, like this right here, with some brake cleaner, and then throw them back in the other trans. So once you have both of these back in now you can put your switch in if you're going to replace these. You know, we do everything 6 times around here.
That's how you know that you're doing it right. I think you're good.
Making sure no leaks. I don't want no leaks. Assuming this goes kind of like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. There we go. Even though that we pulled this transmission out of a fully working car, realized we don't have that bracket, so we're also going to pull that off and swap that over.
This bracket's for the for the PPF, as well as here where it sits. It also sits here.
Yes.
I think that's the adjustment one, right? To adjust up and down.
Yes.
This one, yeah. So Tyler cleaned the bracket up, and now we're just gonna install it onto this transmission. So I think that pretty much sets up the transmission ready to be put on. So, I mean, we might clean it up a little bit, but maybe not, I don't know.
Depends on how OCD we get.
Yeah. So we went ahead and just sprayed the transmission down with some brake cleaner, and we actually went ahead and drained what was left of the turret here, and got some nasty transmission fluid out of there. But yeah, so it's looking pretty good. All we're doing is we took the engine off the stand, got it on the hoist, and we're going to set it on the pallet. That way we can put the flywheel and the clutch and the transmission on and everything to get it ready to go into the car. Right, so we got it on the pallet. Tyler's just going to make sure it doesn't really tip side to side.
And if it does, it's not going to be much.
Now to put the flywheel, clutch, and all the goodies on. Alright, so I've got the bolts on the flywheel. Tyler's rigging up so the flywheel doesn't move when we torque everything down. And I'm going to look up the specs for the bolts. And we're going to torque this baby.
Spin this into place real quick. There you go.
From what I was just reading, it said 71 to 75 foot-pounds. That's enough. Now we can put the clutch and pressure plate on.
Next, we're going to throw on the clutch plate itself, put the alignment tool through, put it into the guide bearing. Now that that's on, we're just going to take the bolts and then slowly start threading them in. That way it applies pressure all the way around it. And make sure that it mats to it evenly. And then you don't want to take this out until all the bolts are threaded in. And then the torque specs on these are 14 to 19 pounds.
Oh, that doesn't go in.
Yeah, it probably needs B.
Yeah. Say so.
Good. 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 Alright.
Alright, so what we're going to do now is install the trans onto the engine. We've got the clutch and everything torqued down, so we're just going to slide that on, put all the bolts in, and put the starter on in the slave cylinder, and then we're ready to put it in the car.